laughter. It's the 21st of October 2023. This is the Break It Down paper review. We take a look at the headlines coming out of the papers this morning. I am Kenny Dorotilu. I have with me the Punch newspaper, the Guardian, the Premium Times, the Nation newspaper, amongst a bunch of papers this morning. I'll start off with the front page of the Punch. Major story, cash transfer. Federal government disqualifies Nigerians without NIN, BVN, CBN. Begins payment. Once again, major story out of the Punch this morning. INEC awaits court's decision on APC's Bielsa candidate spokesman. Escorts of Soludo's aide assault motorist on Anambra Road. Nigerian ambassador to Morocco, Bamali, buried in Kaduna. Bauchi NMA reveals how fake doctor was exposed, arrested. Elsewhere, fuel queues persists as operators blame supply breach. Growing online dating scam leaves victims with emotional trauma, drains finances. That's from the Saturday features page of the Punch this morning. More stories out of the Punch. Residents, traders dumping waste unlawfully will be prosecuted. Loma MD says missing genitals controversy rages. Experts dismiss claims. Jungle justice for accused persons. Another piece from the Saturday features page of the Punch this morning. On the Metro Plus pages, you find this one: train BRT crash. What I saw after accident. Witness tells court. Mob lynches Nasarawa man over alleged theft. NNPCL confirms Warri refinery fire incident. In business, Del York, Lagos launched $100 million film city project. Naseni, 3 Chinese firms signed $2 billion MOUs. Nigeria's export to Angola hits $16.8 million in 3 years. All right, over to the Guardian newspaper now. Olabode Agosto, Ambode bids farewell to illustrious son of Lagos. Troops kill 37 terrorists, rescue 53 kidnapped victims. SCI calls for urgent action to curtail preventable deaths among children. Federal government approves establishment of 7 tertiary institutions. There's another one there. International Day for Rural Women. Olori, Afolabi holds summit, gives financial aid. Girls urged to be fearless, build capacity at Bloom Africa's conference. Building collapse, NSC seeks collaboration with SON to end menace. Tinubu appoints Chira, Auditor General of the Federation. Delta community threatens legal action over exclusion from Chevron's Trust Fund. All right, taking headlines out of the Premium Times newspaper now. No work, no pay. Tinubu approves payment of ASU members' withheld salaries. Bank robbers kill many in Benue. Tinubu lifts no work, no pay rule instituted against Nigerian doctors. Elsewhere from the pages of the Premium Times, Peoples kneel down to beg Nigerian governor to repair collapsed classrooms. You find a video of that from the Premium Times this morning. INEC to deploy 46,084 staff, accredit 11,000 observers for Imo, Bielsa, Kogi elections. Tinubu sacks DGs of NTA, FRCN, Vaughan, others, names replacements. Stampede has 17,000 Nigerian workers struggle to enroll in IPPIS. PDP youths ask Sundo Assembly to probe Akeredolu's health. No work, no pay. SANU kicks against Tinubu's selective waiver. More stories. Tinubu appoints new CEOs for 2 health agencies. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have a new defense alliance. An expert view of its chances of success. Hashtag NSARS Memorial, why police officers were present at Lekki Toll Gate, Lagos CP. 1.2 billion naira fraud. Nigeria's electrification agency confirms premium time story, says reforms ongoing. Sexual harassment victims in Nigerian universities are being blamed. Cyberspace study. Hashtag NSARS Memorial. Mr. Macaroni leads solidarity walk. Tinubu appoints new Auditor General of the Federation. Tinubu mourns Nigeria's charge d'affaires in Morocco. Tinubu confirms Adeni's appointment as CG Customs. Niger governor tasks journalist on climate reporting. Kaduna government approves 13.1 billion naira for retirees' gratuity death benefits. Nigerian Navy intercepts 11 stowaways aboard Ghana-bound ship. Those are some of the major stories out of the Premium Times this morning. All right, headlines out of the Nation newspaper. Tinubu appoints INT'L, Ohiri, MPHCDA, NHIA bosses. Tinubu approves establishment of 7 new tertiary institutions. Better days ahead for Nigerians, Tinubu assures. Elsewhere, Tinubu approves payment of 4 months of withheld salaries to ASU members. Again, Tinubu appoints Shaka Chira as Auditor General of the Federation. Elsewhere from the Nation, Beam Masob tackles Ezeife over Biafra agitation. Abia holds commendation service for late Ohanese President General Iruku. Deputy Speaker Kalu applauds appeal court for upholding his election. Ebonyi leads in budget 2023 fiscal performance ranking. INEC to deploy 46,084 staff for Kogi Bayelsa Imo polls. Now, 160 million naira vehicles, we will decide what to do when we see them. LP lawmakers, Matawale, I didn't embezzle billions from Zamfara Cargo Airport project. More stories from the Nation before we take a look at another paper. 10 killed as robbers raid 3 Benue banks at Dilabu. Insist on review of REA corruption allegation response. Take a couple more. Editorial piece here. Chris Ogubanjo, 1923 to 2023. Pabio and Niger Delta Development 2024 budget. Headlines out of the Daily Post newspaper. Tinubu appoints Shaka Shira, new Auditor General of the Federation. Scores dead as gunmen invade several banks in Benue. President Tinubu confirms that Diwali Adeni as CG of Customs will adopt principle of reciprocity in issuing visas to foreigners. Federal government. Wike never ordered demolition of National Mosque management. Elsewhere from the Daily Trust, Tinubu appoints INT'L, Ohiri as CEOs of MPHCDA, NHIA, Tupo Bank's robbery. Residents reveal how attack lasted for more than 1 hour. INT'L confirms fire outbreak at Warri Refinery. Federal government in process of handing over Obafemi Awolowo Stadium to Oyo government. Dare. While we inaugurate a new state OGP steering committee, Jigawa government. Also from the Daily Post this morning, Kalu applauds Court of Appeal for dismissing AA's petition against INEC. Rep seat LP raises alarm over alleged moves by INEC to frustrate appeal. Also, this one, Southwest APC youth slam PDP over ultimatum to Akeredolu. Guba polls vote for liberation from insecurity. Labour Party rather to Imo electorate. Tinubu appoints Olashipo Lucy as MD of BOI. All right, it's time to delve into some of the analysis of the stories in the papers this morning. And as usual, to do that with me this morning is Austin Udumu. Good morning, Austin. It's great to have you.
Yeah, good morning, Kenny, and thank you for having me.
All right, so let's start off with this one, having to do with the hashtag NSAS protest, the memorials yesterday. And Peter B has said Nigeria has yet to learn from the 2020 hashtag NSAS protests. He has urged government at all levels to probe the continuous detention of those who were arrested 3 years ago. Now, there have been lots of reactions to that one online and all of that. Austin, what are your thoughts on this particular statement from Peter Obi and the situation as regards the NSAS protest? Talk about some people still being in detainment at police stations and what have you.
Yes, yesterday marked the third anniversary of the NSAS saga. Not as if the protest started on the 20th, but on the 20th was the climax. That all of a sudden a peaceful protest turned so turbulent and violent to the extent that so many lives were lost. A lot of multi-billion properties were vandalized all over the country, making Lagos the epicenter of the NSAS carnage at that particular point in time. Of course, like the English people will always say, that memory is always unkind to the old man. So it's so sad that after that incident, we have really, as a country, not be able to learn so much lesson. That's the truth of the matter. I don't want us to build the conversation around Peter Obi. He only re-echo the obvious. The truth of the matter is that so many people that were arrested by the state security operative at that time are still in detention. I think around 150 or thereabouts of them, innocent citizens, are still held in, especially in Kirikiri Maximum Correctional Facility. Of course, we must uphold the tenet of the rule of law and uphold the sanctity of human life. Now look at the NSAS saga, for example. What did we learn? Of course, immediately when the protest broke out, as part of the demand of the youth at that time, the federal government disbanded SAS. But up until today, we still continue to have the issue of police brutality, even pro-mass. I know you understand what I'm talking about.
Right.
Even at a much higher dimension, because the issue is not abating. Policemen are violating the rights of Nigeria on a daily basis. Some of them even go extra mile by extrajudicial killing. Policemen feel that, some of them feel that once they wear the uniform and they hold their AK-47, they can decide to do anything and get away with it. So I feel that it should be like a learning point for us. For example, as a country, as a government, if that same issue breaks out today, have we developed capacity to handle and contain such incursion? We are optimistic that we never have a rerun of the NSAS palaver in the country. The very first time the younger people came together and decided to communicate decisively in a language that government will understand. After then, government have continued to take the people for granted, violate the people, and what have you. Don't also forget, the protest that time was as a result of a number of factors. there are legitimate protesters, or there were legitimate protesters at that time. There were also some people, few ones for that matter, who were also protesting to get themselves to continue in their own business. So, but the truth of the matter is that the government boggled the whole exercise, messed up the whole situation by sending armed security operative, the soldiers, for example, to enforce a curfew and to quell peaceful protests. We must also empower the Nigerian police, for example, to be able to deal with such situations in the future. I said something, I said, if the NSAS scenario breaks out today again, have we developed capacity to be able to handle it differently? Because a lot of people suffer damage at that time that they may never recover. That's the truth of the matter. Has justice actually been served? A lot of injustices here and there. Panel of inquiry were set up all across the country. Have we actually gotten justice? State government have paid millions of naira, hundreds of millions in terms of compensation to families that lost their life, that lost their loved ones, and what have you. Up until today, has justice thoroughly been served? The justice we are looking at is not to bring back those who have died, is to have a reparation for the damage that has been caused. And one of such reparation is the admittance. Kenny, do you know that up until as we speak now, we have never sorted the issue of who deploys soldiers to Lekki to Gate. Up until as we speak now, we don't even know. Nigerian army have not come out to tell us categorically that people die. Of course, I understand, based on the investigation that we carried out at that time, that to say a massacre happened was highly debatable. But the truth of the matter is that a lot of people were killed in that process. Up until now, the government for one day have not been able to come out to own up and say, oh, so and so deployed the military, life were lost, we take responsibility, we are sorry. In terms of future occurrence, we will ensure that it does not happen again. Because Lagos State Governor at that time said there were some powers that beyond him. Quote and unquote, the definition of such power that was beyond him at that time, up until today, have not been explained. So not until and unless we resolve some of this issue, let justice be done. Not only that justice will be done, let it be seen to also be done. Of course, a lot of police officers also suffer at that time. In short, I will tell you categorically for free that the protest of NSAS in 2020 was the most challenging period to be a police officer in the country, because we demoralized them, we dehumanized them, not as if SARS itself as a formation was not good, but at some point they deviated from their core objective. They deviated from their mandate, what they were meant to achieve and what they were meant to pursue. They deviated from it, because we discovered that even after the dismantlement of SARS, there were some critical security breaches and challenges that some of us felt that, oh, how I wish SARS was still in place. So and so would have been easily tracked. But be that as it may, let's look at the general overview now. As the Nigerian police evolve, as the Nigerian police improve in terms of the rule of law and value for human life, in terms of professionalism, in terms of competence, are they improved? The confidence, is it there now? Because I know that shortly after the saga, when you get to the police station, they will tell you that, are you not the people protesting against police? Are you not the people protesting, a lot of issues? Then lastly, before I leave this point, there are still some police formation that were raised down at that time that have not been built now. Up until today, I still have one in my area. It has not been built. I'm aware that some have been completed. Lagos State government was very proactive. They completed a lot of schools, a lot of police stations. I mean, last week I saw a police station somewhere, and the police station was like the standard of our own Ministry of Finance. I don't know whether you get the point I'm making.
Okay, yeah.
A police structure, a police formation, a police station.
Right.
The standard is like our own Ministry of Finance. So we must also try to do things rightly, because the police are also a product of the society.
Right.
They are first of all Nigerians before they are enlisted into the police. So by and large, the truth of the matter is that the government must ensure that things are done differently. We must do a kind of justice. Let justice be done and let it be seen to be done. Let there be a kind of reparation, no matter the amount of millions that we pay,
Right.
that will bring back the life that have been lost. And let's also insist that police become so professional. Let's count between October 2020 till now, how many people have fallen under police bullets in Nigeria?
Right.
We can't take the stock. So the problem is still there. We hardly have learned anything. But let's hope that the situation will improve along the line.
Okay, Austin, let's take a look at like the state of mind of the average Nigerian as regards to, protests, peaceful protests. Now, do you think that with what has happened, how things have played out as regards the hashtag NSAS protests, that of course people would be more reluctant to engage in protest, and how does that affect us, especially as a country who's practicing democracy? If people are fearful to, peacefully protest and make their grievances known to government, how does that affect things generally as a nation for us?
Yes, first of all, from the point of law, protest is within the rights of an average citizen. It's part of the exercise of our fundamental human rights as citizens. That is one of the difference between military administration and civil administration. So it gives beauty and hard value to democracy. Having said that, the issue of protest in Nigeria has become something that ordinarily people fear to do, because protests in Nigeria, there is hardly any protest that will get prolonged and will not be hijacked. Let's go back to 2020, for example. The protests have started 2 weeks before October 20th. The protests have started. It was like a carnival all over the country. People freely were exercising their fundamental right until some people came into the scene for their selfish and nefarious reason. They had to hijack the process. That will take me back to socio-economic problem that the government, had to face. Socio-economic problem is one of the fundamental issue that is affecting us as a country and by extension as a people. How do I mean? There are some of these people we refer to as hoodlum, as miscreants. The only time they do their business is when there is crisis. I don't know whether you understand the point.
Right.
They don't have any means of livelihood. Their only booming period is when there is crisis. So they look for opportunity of a peaceful protest. Hijack the process. Don't also forget, during the NSAS process, a lot of retail stores in Nigeria also suffer. You see people breaking into people's shops, cutting away their property. Is that because police is killing people, or police were killing people? You said SARS was killing people. I just told you earlier that there are some businesses and individuals that may never recover from the carnage of the NSAS. Going to people's businesses, people, organization, people, business outfit, burning them down because you feel you are angry that police, they are killing people. I don't understand. I don't know whether you get the point that I'm making.
Right.
You understand? So it's a big challenge and it's a big problem for us. So our attitude to protest should change, especially on the part of the people, and on the other hand, on the part of government. I also made that comment earlier that soldiers are not managers of protests. So whoever that deploys soldier to dispatch peaceful protesters, they brought the crisis at that particular point in time. We have the mobile police formation that were specifically and specially trained to address the issue of peaceful protests. So I think that the government had to also look at equipment for and funding for the Nigerian police. Because ordinarily when people are protesting, what you deal with is hot water, pepper spray, or what have you. But by the time life ammunition is introduced to it, you can't justify the means. People will definitely die. That's the truth of the matter. In a saner climate, in an advanced country, what they use is pepper spray. What they use is salt water spray. No matter how hardened you are as an individual, when you have a stream of hot water spray on you, you will do what? You will run for your dear life. But in Nigeria, everything about police, anything about security operating is about force. It's about bullets. It's about rifle. It's about AK-47. You see a police officer or a security officer stopping an innocent citizen on the highway. Maybe after a little exchange of word or an argument, the next thing you hear is they will conk their rifle and say, I am going to waste you. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to do this. I even watched a clip where a junior police officer had to go to his superior and say, please, Oga, give me the honor to kill this man. An innocent citizen. He cocked his rifle. He told the Oga and said, do me a favor. Give me the honor to waste this man. So I think that our attitude should change on the part of the people, and government must learn to handle things well. This is a civil administration. Those that are in government are voted because we have something that we refer to as civil administration, something that looks like democracy. That is what we are practicing.
Oh.
The democracy that gives them the opportunity to be voted to office is the same kind of democracy that empower the people for a peaceful protest.
Okay, Austin, let's take a look at some other issues. President Bola Tinubu, we hear, has approved the waiver of the no work, no pay order instituted against the NARD, that's the National Association of Resident Doctors. And also, we hear that there's also a similar waiver for ASU as well, going back to that strike that lasted for 4 months in 2022. Your reaction to this particular one, what do you think of this development, and what Mr. President is doing by granting these waivers to these groups?
Well, it's a good one. It's a good one that is coming from the government. Of course, it will solve a lot of problems, economic issue, tension and restiveness in the land. That is also suggestive of the fact that for the first time, government is making or looking proactive. I think it's a welcome development. For your information, the ASU strike was not 4 months. The ASU strike was 8 months. But the federal government, through Mr. President, graciously approved that half of it should be waived for them.
Okay.
And don't forget, there's a caveat in the statement that a document of understanding. There was a time we have a deed of action during the ASU struggle and what have you. We have had a lot of, from memorandum of understanding to memorandum of action. But this particular point in time, the federal government is saying that document of understanding, which suffice to say that members of ASU, we are waiving this for you, but this might actually be like the last time that this will be done. The president had to do that under the presidential prerogative of mercy. Of course, I like that. If politicians who have stolen money, President Muhammadu Buhari, former president, decide to pardon them under the guise of prerogative of mercy, of course, another president can also decide to say that, Members of ASU, we have punished you because you didn't go to work, but now we have decided to forgive you. So we waive it 50-50, 8 months, take 4 months, while you fulfill the remaining 4 months. So it will just be like a free fund for members of ASU. Not only members of ASU, the federal government also decided to extend that to members of the National Association of Resident Doctors who went on strike early part of this year. That their salary that were withheld by the government can also be paid. Apart from this gesture, which is very good, the government must also put a mechanism in place not to allow strike in Nigeria. We have always said that strike is always the only option, the last option. It should be the last option. But strike is always the language that Nigerian government understands. It shouldn't be so. When there is notices of strike, let the federal government move into negotiation. Create an enabling environment. Some of the things, agitation that causes strike, let government look for a way to avert them so that the country can continue to grow. Because at the end of the day, when any agency or any union in Nigeria goes on strike, it is the government that suffers. Because most time they still get paid. Okay, look at ASU now. They wasted eight months of the student life, university student life. After 1 year, they are being paid 4 months that will look like a free fund for them. How about the student academic life that have been wasted? Who pays for that? So that is the issue. The National Association of Resident Doctors, they are members that went on strike. Those who died in our various hospitals, especially tertiary teaching hospitals in Nigeria, like our own hospital in Ibadan, who pay for them? Who pay for all this? I know of a family that lost their wife because of that particular strike. They were supposed to do. The lady was in labor, and because of a shutdown of the hospital, she was referred there, and before you know it, she gave up the ghost. Who pay for such quantum damages? So we must make sure as a government we don't allow people to go on strike for the fun of it. And those union and workers that are going on strike, they must realize, especially those who are on essential services, that strike is not what you just go on. Because you must also think of the ripple effect, the damaging effect, one to the economy and to the society in terms of the people at large. So like we have said earlier, this move is commendable. The government has done well through the federal government by Mr. President. But how do we ensure that such occurrence, such thing do not reoccur? That is what we are talking about. Right. We talk about the NSAS. How do we ensure that we do not have a rerun of the NSAS? Now we are paying salary to those who did not go to work. How do we ensure that at the end of the day, all of this scenario will not repeat itself? So the buck, in my view, lies more on the table of the government. We must be proactive, we must be decisive, we must be creative, and ensure that we do not lose money unnecessarily. Because when people do not go to work and at the end of the day you pay them, okay, when labor union go on strike, they shut down the economy, the government loses money. When they resume strike, the period that they didn't go to work, you will pay them. So government will further lose money again. Right. So at the end of the day, who benefits?
Okay, Austin, let's take a look at this one. Former Secretary General of the Commonwealth, Emeka Anyaoku, has said that the way forward for Nigeria is a new constitution to arrest the ongoing deterioration of the situation in the country. A constitution that reflects diversity is what he's calling for. He said that Nigeria successfully managed diversity in the early years of independence, but after the military intervened, the country's governance in 1996, that changed things basically. He's saying that an unprecedented level of divisiveness and a declining sense of national unity is one of our major problems. Okay, do our issues here, Austin, stem from the Constitution? Is it solely a constitutional issue, according to Ayoku?
Yes, it's not solely a constitutional issue. It's a multifaceted constitutional issue. Then the human factor, the Nigerian factor, that is there. I'm particularly delighted that Emeka Anyonku, a well-respected elder statesman, a pan-Nigerian, had to come up with this idea. Of course, this is what a lot of us have canvassed for. He made that statement at a public lecture at Afe Babalola University convocation ceremony.
Right.
What it is most of the time, it is shameful when we go into the discourse that our constitution entirely should be changed. We have a constitution that we can work with. We have countries of the world who do not even have a written constitution, and yet they are doing well. I don't know whether you understand the point I'm making.
Right.
They don't have a written constitution. Their constitution is unwritten, and they are doing well, which means that they just agree, gentleman agreement, that this is what we are going to be doing, and they all stick to it. But Nigeria is a country where law does not work. That's the issue. So we have issues with our constitution. We also have issue with the executors of the constitution. That's the managers of the constitution. No matter how good a document is, we need people without hypocrisy to actually be able to manage such a document. In short, in the history of the country, we have never been this divided before. That's the truth of the matter. And our diversity should be like an advantage to us as a people. Our diversity should bring goodies to us. That is it. There is this saying that tribal tongues may differ, but in brotherhood we stand. We must be patriotic to the country. But today, as a Sam in Nigeria, everybody is first of all loyal to their ethnic group before we talk about Nigeria. You talk about people is the ethnic group. Somebody said some Wike must be removed as a minister of FCT because of some parochial reason. That is the way an average Nigerian reason. But in my view, I think 1999 Constitution is the greatest disservice we have ever done to this country. Whosoever that packaged the 1999 Constitution, they are part of the problem that we are suffering today. Because the 1999 Constitution is not a document that you can even rework. If you ask me, I will say, let's go back to the 1963 Republican Constitution. Let's rework it to reflect current diversity. And I'm good with that.
Right.
But this 1999 Constitution that the National Assembly continue to spend 1 billion every year to amend it. You will hear 1999 Constitution as amended. A constitution that is less than 25 years. We have amended the constitution how many times? So it means that the reality in the 1999 Constitution is not practicable in today's Nigeria. Look at the constitution, for example, that said that before you become a governor, the president of the country, you only need to be educated to at least school SAT.
Right.
And the school SAT, you only need to show evidence that you attended. You might not even need to pass.
Right.
You don't even need to pass. Just show evidence, like a certificate of attendance that, I was there. For how long are we going to continue like that? So I agree. I align myself with Emeka Anyonku, but I beg to differ that the constitution alone is not our problem. Our politicians, they are also part of our problem. And part of the solution that I will recommend is that we should, instead of amending this 1999 Constitution that was packaged and bankrolled and bequeathed unto us by the military cabals, we should throw it into the ocean. We should throw the 1999 Constitution into the River Niger. Go back to 1963 Constitution. Rework it to reflect the current reality in the country. And in my view, we are good to go.
How about the issue? You mentioned something about the human side of things as regards the Constitution and all of that. If we go back to that or have a reworked version of that Constitution, like you said, aren't we still going to have to struggle with the human side of things, because it's the humans who are going to be in control and who are going to, of course, determine what happens. If there isn't a mind shift, don't you think that, yes, there's still going to be problems here?
Yes, I also agree that we need a kind of value reorientation. But the major problem we have had is that having a piece of legislation that is bad and having hypocritical people implementing something that is bad. You know, today now we are debating the fact that the constitution is our problem, the politicians are also our problem. But if we have a decent constitution, it will now be that the people, the politicians, the managers of the constitution are our problem. There are a lot of lacunas in the 1999 constitution, for example. Look at the EFCC Act, for example, that we have been debating. The president at that time lost confidence in the Nigerian police and decided to create an anti-graft agency. I'm just citing as an example. Right. And decided to create an anti-graft agency. The legislation that now created that anti-graft agency now went back to the police and said that whoever that want to head the anti-graft agency must be of the rank of assistant commissioner of police or his equivalent. I don't know whether you are getting the point. Meanwhile, in a saner society, it is police that investigate financial crime. Now, because you have lost confidence in the police, you created another agency. You now have to go back to the same police that you say, oh, something is wrong with them. So the ideal thing is that our people too, we need the value reorientation. I agree completely, because it is only when people enter into government. Kenny, you know, you don't need to even go to school before you know the quality of a good road. You don't need to go to school before you know the quality of a good house. Why is it that, for example, to renovate, to repair government infrastructure and facility is costlier in Nigeria than building a new one from the scratch? I don't know whether you are getting the point I'm making. So that is the devil in us that we need to recreate. I told you earlier, I said, we have countries of this world that operate on written constitution. They didn't write anything down in form of their constitution. And every day they come up with policy to better their life, and the system is running. So it's a systemic issue. We need a kind of value reorientation, but I believe so strongly that the constitution that we have now is not helping matters at all. If we have a practicable constitution, a workable constitution, a constitution that truly reflects our diversity and our aspiration in Nigeria, that constitution will also be able to help us in our recruitment and selection process to political offices. I don't know whether you get the point I'm making.
Right.
The constitution will be so clear. We have a lot of professors, and we continue to have a situation where people that are governing us, the last administration, the president, the people said he should submit his NEPA bill, his certificate does not matter. Look at the current conversation we are having in Nigeria today. You understand? Right. I was talking to somebody 2 days ago. The person said, I learned that all Nigerians are scammers. I don't know whether you get that. I shouted, I said, that statement is too generic. How can you conclude that the whole nation called Nigeria, they are all scammers? So that's the problem that we have. So if we have a constitution that is genuine, a constitution that is deliberate, a constitution that is practicable, that constitution can help us in our selection process, in our recruitment process into leadership position, especially political offices in Nigeria, and our problem will be solved.
Okay, thank you very much, Austin. I have to take some commercials. When I come back, we'll be opening the phone lines, taking your reactions to the stories making the papers. Stay with me.
Feel better about your life.
32 FM, 94.9, the antidote to depression.
Asalaamu alaikum gbogbo Mùsùlùmí. Ilẹ̀kùn Umura December tún ti ṣí sílẹ̀ láti kọ́ wọ́n ní pẹ̀lú Alhaji Sheikh Muhyiddin Ajani Bello. Ogúnjọ́ oṣù kejìlá ọdún 2023 lágbéra. Káàsì padà lọ́jọ́ kẹta oṣù kìíní ọdún 2024. Ọjọ́ mẹ́rin ní Medina, ọjọ́ mẹ́jọ ní Mecca. Àpapọ̀ gbogbo ẹ̀ ìrọ̀rùn ló bá dé. Ilé-iṣẹ́ alálùbáríkà Aljana Hajj and Umrah Service Nigeria Limited ló ń pẹ́ gbogbo wa. Bẹ́ẹ̀ bákan náà, àǹfààní ti ṣí sílẹ̀ láti tètè máa fọwọ́ kọ sílẹ̀ àti láti máa sanwó sanwó díẹ̀díẹ̀ fún umura Ramadan àti hajj 2024. Ilégbé ìrọ̀rùn tí ò jìnnà sí haram àti mọ́ṣáláṣí ànábì Mádínà. Sìyára ọ̀fẹ́ lójoojúmọ́. Oúnjẹ àjẹdọ́wẹ́kẹ̀ lẹ́ẹ̀mẹ́ta lójúmọ́. Tó fi mú ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ètò tí ó mú ká ẹ ṣe àṣepé hajj. A jẹ́ pé a máa ń fàkókò ṣòfò mọ́. Ẹ wá darapọ̀ mọ́ àwọn hujjah lọ́fíìsì Aljana Travel Hajj and Umrah Services, Navada Plaza, Elewure Bus Stop, opposite Liberty Stadium, Suite 140/142, Liberty Road, Ìbàdàn. Fún ẹ̀kúnrẹ́rẹ́ àlàyé 0904-4444-945. Umrah oṣù kejìlá ọdún ìpẹ̀lú bàbá wa Alhaji Sheikh Muhyiddin Ajani Bello. O gbọ́dọ̀ gbẹ̀yìn ń bẹ̀.
ogun àtọ́pẹ́ kó máa jẹ́ tolúwa lórí òkè ìyanu ìlara ẹ̀pẹ́ ọdọọdún ni annual marathon miracle festival programs máa ń wáyé ọjọ́ mẹ́ta gbáko pẹ̀lú ọ̀kan òjọ̀kan ètò lórí òkè ìyanu ìlara ẹ̀pẹ́ láti gbólúwaga àkòrí glory to glory 2023 lábẹ́ àkóso bishop and prophetess Lucas tolúwandò ní sáwa 25 26 27 October 2023 lọ́jọ́ àkọ́kọ́ ẹ pàdé prophet Sam Ojo prophet Fẹ́mi Òní prophet Taiwo Ojo níbi tí àdúrà túnde yóò ti máa rọ̀jò wọ̀wọ̀ mẹ́wàá àárọ̀ dago mẹ́wàá alẹ́ lọ́jọ́ kejì evangelist Tọ́pẹ́ Àlàbí evangelist Ebenezer Obey pastor Adélakùn Ayẹwà Dáre Melody Chigozi Wisdom Adégbòdú Twin Dáre Justify Rẹ̀mílẹ́kùn Amos Elijah Akíntúndé Ọlọ́run sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ aago mẹ́wàá àárọ̀ sago mẹ́wàá alẹ́ mọ́jọ́ kẹta àṣekágbá ló gbé gbogbo ẹ̀rù October 28 2023 Rose Love Foundation Empowerment 2023 níbi tí gbogbo ẹni tó kù díẹ̀ káàtó fún ti gba òbítíbitì ẹ̀bùn pẹ̀lú ọ̀kan òjọ̀kan olórin ẹ̀mí ọ̀rọ̀ tìǹlẹ́nu Lanre Da Silva àti Dr. Ọlọ́ládé Valentine Màmá Olúṣọlá Ọbaṣálá alága
telephone 07059458718.
ìpàdé di Mountain of Miracle ìlara ẹ̀pẹ́ àmọ́ retí yín o olùgbàlejò àgbà Bishop and Prophetess Lucas.
mọ́mì wa ṣáwọn ọmọ yín fẹ́ràn mílíkì ṣe é fẹ́ gbọ́ Milo Active Go ní mílíkì ìdá 20 tàbí jù bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ló ń bẹ nínú Milo fún àwọn ọmọ yín tí ẹ bá sì fẹ́ kí ó ṣe yọ̀yọ̀yọ̀ sí ẹ lè po mílíkì mọ́ ọ sí Milo okun láti tẹ̀síwájú.
Milo. I'm living the life cause I get this
Hey, kọ́ńbù ẹ̀kú àlejò emú gbòǹgbò ọ̀nà ẹ̀kú àlejò ẹsẹ̀ Ìbàdàn nílé Olúyọ̀lé ẹ̀kú àmójúbà Tizeti Network Limited pẹ̀lú Tizeti ìlò omi òjò lẹ́ẹ̀ máa lo ayélujára íńtánẹ́ẹ̀tì ní yàwàlù torí pé gbajúgbajà ní iléeṣẹ́ Tizeti Network Limited níbi ìpèsè ayélujára lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà fún iléeṣẹ́ ńláńlá àti olókoòwò kéékèèké lábẹ́ àbúradà Tizeti ẹ lè browse kẹ́ stream kẹ́ sì tún gbá géèmù bó ṣe wù yín láì níkọ̀sẹ̀ pẹ̀lú ìlànà ẹgbẹ̀lẹ́mùkú data kèé máa ṣeré ìwọ ni kó má sọ̀fànù 12,500 naira péré lẹ́ẹ̀fì jẹ mùlá data fódìdí oṣù kan gbáko lábẹ́ àbúradà Tizeti láì níkọ̀sẹ̀ ẹ kàn sí wifi.com.ng/oyo ẹ sì lè pe 0122987886 tàbí kẹ́ ẹ tẹ àtẹ̀jíṣẹ́ sí internet@wifi.com.ng ayélujára ní yàwàlù.
You're listening to 32 FM 94.9.
All right, great to have you back with us. 32 FM 94.9 0705 5949 0809 7949. Those are the numbers to give your reactions to the stories making the newspapers this morning on the Papers Review. Take this call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, happy to see you again.
Come again, what's your name?
I'm happy to see you again this morning.
Good morning, sir. What's your name?
My name is Mr. Obi Collins.
All right, let's hear you.
I want to say that the issue of the waiver given to ASO to pay 4 months out of 8 months. And I want to remind you, sir, that during the period of strike, the good officers, 6 officers on campuses were on ground for a period of 4 months. And they have been punished for work they did. The law did not say that they should not pay those who worked. Let those who went on strike. But today, government did not value fit to pay those who were on duty, to safeguard the campus, to have the property intact when everybody was away for the strike. Till now, it's unfair. I don't want people to acknowledge, sir. All I know you have discussing, you did remember to go to that side. Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. 0705 5949 0829 7949. We're live on Facebook. You can drop your reactions on Facebook as well. That's at 32FM 949 Ibadan. Take some reactions from Facebook now. I have this one here from Tulope Ademi who says there's no coherence in the word coming from from the presidency and their actions, and there's no money that they are struggling to pay salaries because they won't embark on spending humongous amounts of money but buy SUVs for lawmakers and all. This is a clear pointer to the fact that their insincerity is second to none as such, and we won't accept this excuse for their monumental failure. What an insincere government. Tolulope Ademi. There. Once again, you can share your reactions on Facebook. That's 32FM949 Ibadan. Elsewhere, Raiji Afiz Abiola on Facebook also has this one to say about the ordering of the payment of withheld university lecturer salaries. Honestly, it's a welcome development and a moral buster on the part of those lecturers, but the government needs to do everything possible to prevent the future strikes by these lecturers and other workers because it looks like government is in the losing side. God bless Nigeria. 0705 5000 949 0809 7000 949. Those are the numbers to share your thoughts with me this morning. Omobasha Rabiola says Nigeria's problem is leadership failure, and systemic error. The legislative chambers, both red and green house, and the constitution itself lacks good representation, and the constitution itself, the legislators are not representing the masses, but went to the chambers for their parochial interests. Quite unfortunate. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, yeah.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead.
This is John Olaraju calling from Ajo. On the issue of fasting, I think the last administration caused it by the Minister of Labor in Gigi. It was the one that really made the payment of the household to look like that by taking them to court instead of settle with them. Now it brought the burden on this administration. So I think that is why if you want to put anybody into the position, you must know that person very well. Should be a person that can be able to know how to deal with it, not a kind of person that we just not able to know how to deal with the people. That's what that one. So on the issue of constitution, yes, like the man is rightly said, we need a new constitution, not amending anything. We don't need to amend anything again. So it's a constitution that make our system to work very well, that we give room to every ethnic group in Nigeria. That's the kind of constitution that we have. Thank you and good morning.
All right, thank you very much. 0705 5000 949 0809 7000 949. Let's have your thoughts on some of the stories out of the newspapers this morning. Let's take this one. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Austin. My name is Inga. How are you calling from Apata?
All right.
I think the constitution is one of the problems of this country because we are using an archaic and old constitution of 1999. Using that such constitution in this present age of 20th century, I think it's an archaic constitution. That was what we are talking about when we said there should be what they call it, referendum, and having a restructuring of the country. And President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he was campaigning, he said it was going to restructure. But now when he gets there, he has forgotten what he said. I think let them restructure the whole thing. When they restructure, of course, the constitution might be, you understand, rewritten and it should favor us in this country. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. 0705 5000 949 0809 7000 949. Austin, you want to react to some of the comments we've had?
Yes, do you know that the military cabal that packaged the 1999 constitution for the nation, there was no provision for a referendum? That's the truth. So the government can always hide there that the referendum is even illegal when you talk about constitution in the country. So whatever we have to do, of course, the policy document, which is our constitution, is long overdue. It has been amended severally, and yet it's not serving any good purpose. And there are a lot of lacunas. The constitution will say this, the constitution will say and that, the same constitution will say and that thing. That is why you find administration, when you invite 100 lawyers on a particular matter, they will give 100 opinion. You will not know anyone that you can follow. So a new constitution is long overdue.
Okay.
I also agree that we need to restructure Nigeria by implication. That's just the truth.
Okay, let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning, sir. All right.
It means from Nigeria, you don't really know the problem of this country. The problem of the constitution and the changing of that constitution lies solely on the National Assembly. And we are the people that elected these people to that chamber. We will not go to that area. We only focusing on the president. I don't know how we reach it. That is my opinion.
All right, thank you. That's an opinion there. On Facebook, Ayofagbimi says, one terrible thing with the government is in power and their party is that they are too deceitful, far more than all that have governed Nigeria in the past. And unless we disallow people like this to lead Nigeria in the future. Okay, thanks for that comment. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Kenny. Okay, good morning. This is James from London.
All right.
There is no archaic constitution. American constitution is over 100 years, 200 years. It's the implementation of the constitution. There is lacuna in the 1999 constitution. But some areas can be amended so that we implement well. The executive, judiciary, and legislature, they are not doing well. We, to the masses, we are violating the constitution of this country. People are suggesting 1963 constitution. If we want to implement 1963 constitution, that means we are going to scrap the National Assembly and the caretaker government in federal and state and local government. Let's focus on local government administration.
All right.
The constitution is too simple about local government administration. What our government now pocket them. No development. It's not only constitution that we have problems. It's the human being that works with the constitution. Have a nice time.
All right, thank you very much. Austin Idumo, thank you very much for joining me on the Papers Review this morning. Appreciate you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, my name is Kenny Durotulu. Thanks for joining us on the Papers Review. The Papers Review back your way on Monday. Good morning.